Welcome to Kieu channel. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to support me in creating more meaningful videos.
Today, we begin a quiet journey into the life of Sung Luyen, a single mother whose strength has been tested again and again by the unrelenting weight of survival. Her life has never followed an easy path. From one day to the next, she has learned to endure rather than complain, to continue rather than question. For her, survival is not a moment of crisis, it is a daily condition. A few days ago, Sung Luyen was taken far away from her mountain home to work as a hired laborer. It was not an opportunity filled with hope or promise. It was not a choice she made with excitement. It was simply the only option left. She left home quietly, without ceremony, carrying only a small bundle of clothes and the silent determination that she would return. The work was hard. The hours were long. Her hands grew rough from labor, and her body slowly weakened under constant exhaustion. There were no words of encouragement, no assurance that her effort would lead to something better, only the steady passing of time and the pressure to keep going. Through every exhausting moment, one thought remained clear in her mind: home. Now, after days spent far from everything familiar, she is finally on her way back. But the road home no longer feels the same. The mountains rise before her, wide and unmoving, stretching endlessly beneath the open sky. Paths she once remembered now seem altered, broken into narrow trails that twist, divide, and disappear into the forest. She walks slowly and carefully. Each step carries uncertainty. At every turn, she hesitates, aware that a single wrong direction could take her farther from where she belongs. She stops often, standing still as if listening to the land itself. Her tired eyes search for something familiar, a slope, a tree, a bend in the road that might reassure her. But nothing answers. When she meets people along the way, she gathers her courage and asks. Her voice is soft, weakened by fatigue, yet respectful and sincere. "Is this the way home? Can you help me get back?" Some people shake their heads without speaking. Some avoid her eyes entirely. Others pause for a moment, then continue walking, unwilling to take responsibility for a stranger's journey. No one wants to be involved. No one wants to risk inconvenience. She asks if someone might give her a ride, even just part of the way. Again and again, the response is the same: no. And so, with no other choice left, Sung Luyen continues on foot, alone. The road feels longer now, as if it stretches farther with every step she takes. Her legs ache deeply, her feet feel heavy against the uneven ground. Her back burns from days of labor and endless walking. Her shoulders slump under exhaustion. Her breathing becomes slow and deliberate, measured carefully to conserve what little strength remains. The sun hangs above her, silent and unrelenting. Dust clings to her worn clothes. Sweat runs down her face, carrying fatigue and quiet determination. She pauses sometimes, not to rest, but simply to steady herself. There are moments when doubt quietly enters her thoughts. What if she has taken the wrong path? What if she cannot find her way back? But she does not allow those thoughts to stay. Stopping would mean giving up, and giving up is not something she can afford. she walks on. Step after step, breath after breath. The wind brushes against her clothes, carrying the dry scent of earth and fallen leaves. The forest stands tall and silent, watching as she passes beneath its shadow. Birds scatter in the distance. Branches creak softly overhead. In this vast landscape, she feels small and alone. Yet she continues moving forward. Because she is not walking only for herself. She is walking for the life she must return to, for the responsibility waiting at the end of the road. A lone figure moving slowly through endless mountains. A woman carrying exhaustion in her body, uncertainty in her steps, and fragile hope deep within her heart. A mother walking home, not knowing what waits for her at the end of the road.
As she continues her long walk home, hunger begins to take its toll. Her body is already weak from days of labor, and now her stomach tightens with emptiness. Each step becomes harder. Each breath feels heavier than before. She has no food with her, no money left to buy anything along the way, and there is no one she can ask. Along the roadside, she notices patches of sweet potatoes growing in the soil. They are not meant for people. They were planted to feed livestock, to feed pigs. She stops and looks around. For a moment, she hesitates. Digging up someone else's crops is not something she wants to do, but hunger leaves little room for pride. Slowly, she kneels down and begins to dig with her bare hands. The soil is dry and hard. Her fingers ache as they push into the earth. She pulls out a few small sweet potatoes, brushing off the dirt as best she can. They are rough and uncooked, but they are food. She eats quietly, slowly, not for comfort, but to keep herself going. Each bite gives her just enough strength to stand again. It is not a meal, it is survival. Wiping her hands on her clothes, she rises to her feet and continues walking, still hungry, still tired, but not defeated. High on the mountain once stood a small house, her home. It was simple and fragile, built from wood and tin, but it was everything she had. It was a place where a mother and her child once slept beneath the same roof, protected from the cold and the rain. While she was away, the forest around her home was destroyed. People came to cut down the trees, to clear the land and burn it to make new fields. In the process, her house was not spared. Fire swept through the area without warning. Flames consumed the walls, the roof, and everything inside. They left nothing behind. No clothes, no tools, no memories that could be carried away. When the fire was gone, only ashes remained, where a home once stood. High on the mountain, there once stood a small house, her home. It was not large, and it was not strong. Built from simple wood and thin sheets of tin, it leaned slightly against the slope of the hill, shaped by wind and rain over many seasons. But to Sung Luyen, it was everything she had. It was the place where she rested after long days of work, the place where she cooked simple meals and listened to the quiet sounds of the forest at night. The place where a mother and her child once slept beneath the same fragile roof, believing that no matter how hard life became, they still had a home. While she was away, everything changed. People came to the mountain to clear the forest. Trees were cut down one by one, their trunks falling heavily to the ground. The land was stripped bare, prepared to be burned and turned into new fields. In that destruction, her house stood helpless. There was no warning. No one came to tell her. No one asked if anyone lived there. When the fire was set, it spread quickly. Flames climbed the dry wood, swallowing the walls and racing across the roof. Smoke rose into the sky as everything inside was consumed. Clothes, cooking tools, blankets, the few belongings that made life possible. Nothing was spared. By the time the fire died down, the house was gone. There were no walls left standing, no roof to shelter beneath, no trace of the life that once filled the space. Only blackened ground and scattered ashes remained. The mountain stood silent afterward, as if nothing had ever been there. The forest that once surrounded her home was gone, replaced by emptiness and scorched earth. Everything she owned had been erased. A home built through years of struggle disappeared in a single moment, and she was not there to stop it, not there to save anything. When Sung Luyen would finally return, she would not find a house waiting for her. She would find only ashes, the quiet remains of a life that once stood on that mountain. She stands still for a long moment, staring at what remains. The place where her home once stood is now nothing more than a field of ash and broken wood. The air still carries a faint smell of smoke, as if the fire has only just gone out. Silence presses down on her chest, heavy and unforgiving. Then she remembers the ring James once gave her, small, simple, but precious. It was not worth much in money, but it carried meaning. It was a promise, a memory, a reminder that once someone had cared for her and her child. Her hands begin to move. She kneels down slowly and starts digging through the ashes. The ground is still warm in places, and black dust clings to her fingers. She coughs as fine ash rises into the air, coating her face, her clothes, her hair. She searches carefully at first, gently pushing aside pieces of burned wood, as if afraid of damaging something that might still be there. Her eyes scan every darkened corner, every fragment, every shadow. Nothing. She digs deeper. Her movements grow faster, more desperate. She no longer cares about the dirt under her nails or the soot covering her skin. She grabs handfuls of ash and throws them aside, over and over again. Still, nothing. The ring is gone. For a moment she stops. Her hands tremble as they hover over the ashes. She tells herself not to give up. Maybe it fell somewhere else. Maybe it survived. She continues searching. Time seems to lose its meaning as she digs through what was once her life. Every piece of debris she touches carries a memory, a corner where she once slept, a place where her child once sat, a space where laughter once existed. But all of it has been reduced to the same gray dust. No matter how long she searches, the result does not change. Only ashes remain. Yet she does not stop. If the ring is gone, perhaps something else survived. Anything, even the smallest thing, would be enough to prove that not everything was lost. She keeps digging. Her arms ache, her fingers burn, but she refuses to stand up. At last, her hand touches something solid. She freezes. Slowly, she clears the ash away. It is an old cooking pot, blackened, dented, covered in soot, but intact. The same pot she once used to cook soup, the same pot that once hung above the fire, filling the air with warmth and simple meals. The pot that fed her child on nights when food was scarce, but love was not. She lifts it carefully, holding it in both hands. For a moment, she simply stares at it. This is all that remains. No clothes, no blankets, no tools, no personal belongings. Everything she owned, everything she worked for, has been burned away. She lowers herself to the ground and sits beside the place where the fire once burned. The stones of the old hearth are still there, darkened by smoke, cold now and lifeless. This was where she once sat at the end of long days, where she cooked, where she rested, where she felt, for brief moments, safe. Now she sits there again, but this time there is no fire, no warmth, no home, only ashes. Her body begins to shake. At first, she makes no sound. Her shoulders rise and fall as she struggles to breathe. Then the tears come. She cries quietly at first, as if afraid to disturb the silence of the mountain. Her tears fall onto the ash-covered ground, leaving dark marks that quickly disappear. Then her grief breaks free. Her sobs grow louder, raw, and uncontrolled. She leans forward, clutching the cooking pot to her chest, as if it were the last piece of her life still within reach. This pot is all she has left. Everything else is gone. Her clothes, her bedding, her tools, the small belongings she had gathered over years of struggle, all reduced to dust. She cries for what she has lost. She cries for the years it took to build a life that disappeared in a single fire. She cries for the unfairness of it all. The mountain does not answer. The wind moves gently through the burned land, carrying her cries away into the empty forest. She stays there for a long time, sitting beside the ashes, unable to stand. Her tears fall freely, soaking into the ground where her home once stood. In that moment, the weight of everything presses down on her. She is tired, she is broken, she feels small and powerless against a world that took everything from her while she was away, trying to survive. The ring is gone, the house is gone, the life she knew is gone. Only memory remains. As the sun slowly moves across the sky, she wipes her face with the back of her hand. Her eyes are red and swollen. Her breathing is uneven, but slowly it begins to steady. She looks again at the ashes, at the empty space where her home once stood. There is nothing left to search for. She places the cooking pot beside her and rests her hands on her knees. For a moment, she closes her eyes. The silence returns. And in that silence, she understands something painful and clear. Everything she had has been taken from her, but she is still here, still breathing, still alive. Her grief does not disappear, the pain does not fade, but beneath it, something remains, fragile, quiet, but unbroken. The will to continue. Slowly, she opens her eyes. The ashes lie before her, cold and unmoving. They mark the end of one chapter of her life. But somewhere beyond this devastation, another chapter must begin. For now, she sits beside the ruins, holding the last object that survived the fire, and lets herself cry, not only for what she lost, but for the strength she will need to keep going. Despite the devastation spread before her, Sung Luyen slowly came to understand that grief alone would not protect her from the night ahead. The ashes beneath her feet were cold now, but the pain they represented was still burning inside her chest. For a long moment, she stood motionless, staring at the place where her small home once stood, listening to the wind move through empty space. Everything she owned, everything familiar, had vanished. Yet she was still standing, and that meant something remained. The mountains do not wait for sorrow to pass. As the sun sank lower, the air grew colder, and shadows stretched across the land. Sung Luyen knew she needed shelter, no matter how fragile. She turned away from the ashes and began searching the surrounding area. Dry branches lay scattered along the hillside, broken but not useless. She bent down and picked them up one by one. Her hands were sore, her body heavy with exhaustion, but she continued. Each branch felt like a quiet refusal to give in. She carried the wood back toward the edge of the burned clearing and leaned the branches together carefully, forming a simple frame. It was uneven and weak, but it stood. She then searched for banana trees nearby, gathering large leaves whose broad surfaces could block the wind. One by one, she layered them over the frame, overlapping them as best she could. The leaves rustled softly as the wind passed through, but the shelter held. It was not a home. It barely deserved to be called a roof, but it was enough to keep her alive through the night. As darkness settled over the mountains, silence returned, broken only by the distant calls of insects and the whisper of leaves. Sung Luyen sat beneath the shelter, pulling her worn clothes tightly around her body. Hunger tightened her stomach, and her muscles trembled with fatigue. She had traveled far, worked hard, and returned to nothing. Still, she was breathing. Still, her heart was beating. She looked around the clearing, now barely visible in the fading light. Memories surfaced without warning. Warm meals shared, quiet evenings, the simple safety of knowing where she belonged. Those memories hurt, but she allowed them to come. Pushing them away would not ease the pain. This place had been her world once, and losing it deserved to be mourned. Eventually, she lowered herself onto the cold ground beneath the shelter. The earth was hard, but rest was unavoidable. She lay there, staring upward through small gaps between the leaves. Above her, faint stars flickered through thin clouds. They were distant, silent, unchanged. The same sky that had watched over her life before the fire was still there now. The world continued, indifferent, yet steady. In that stillness, Sung Luyen realized a truth she had never wanted to face. Life does not promise fairness. It does not protect those who work hardest or suffer quietly. Sometimes it takes everything at once and leaves us alone with the ruins. And yet, as long as there is breath, there is possibility. Survival itself becomes an act of courage. This fragile shelter was more than protection from the cold. It was a beginning, a declaration that even when everything is destroyed, rebuilding can start with the smallest action. One branch placed carefully, one leaf laid with intention, one decision not to lie down and disappear. Tomorrow would not be easy. She would need to find food, rebuild, and face uncertainty she could not yet imagine. The road ahead was unclear and frightening, but tomorrow would also mean she had survived tonight, and that mattered. Sung Luyen's story is not unique, though it often goes unseen. Across the world, countless people are rebuilding their lives quietly, without recognition or applause. They wake up each day carrying invisible wounds, choosing endurance over surrender. Their strength is not loud, it does not demand attention, it simply persists. If you are watching this and feel overwhelmed by loss, remember this moment. Remember that resilience is not about having everything figured out. It is about continuing, even when the path ahead is dark. It is about choosing one more step, one more breath, one more night. True strength often looks like silence. It looks like standing alone after everything has burned and deciding to move forward anyway. It looks like building shelter from nothing and trusting that morning will come. If this journey touched your heart, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps keep these stories alive and reminds others that they are not alone in their struggles. Sometimes, knowing that someone is listening is enough to keep going. Thank you for staying with this story. From ashes, life can begin again.